I was having a little trouble. Hi, folks. I was having a little trouble thinking about what I wanted to talk about, and I finally realized what it was because it's been running through my head all day. Is the cell phone. Now, I'm 54 years old, so I'm not ashamed of it because I'm actually in better shape than a lot of guys my age. So anyway, I grew up where you had a landline and you memorized your home phone number and you memorized probably two or three other people's numbers. But all in all of my friends were from my neighborhood or from school, but mostly my neighborhood. Even the ones I didn't like, I was friends with. That's kind of an oxymoron. That's the way it was. So anyway, I dislike the cell phone, and I let everybody know about it. I'm a commercial driver, and I tell people, look, when I'm out driving or I'm working, you can call me all you want. I'm not going to answer my phone. I'm not going to touch my phone. That's just me. If I'm driving down the road in my personal car, I will not touch my phone. So I just have this thing and when I was a commercial fire system tester, I don't know why my boss made me have to wear this. This back in the old days. He made me wear a pager. Well, I never turned it on, and he never complained that I never called back. Well, duh. He never called me. And I used to do all kinds of fire system testing from all the way up in Pasadena to Pasadena, California, all the way down to oh my gosh, almost to the Mexican border. There's a cotton processing plant down there that I used to do a fire system test on, and that was a 12 to 14 hour day because you had to do it once every other month because cotton's highly flammable. You don't care about that. So anyway, I hated having that pager because I was always paranoid that he was going to call me, but he never called me. So that's the first leash. Then I got a job at a major cell phone company, and it's not important who they are, and they're based out of Southern California, or at least where I was. I got a job at a cell phone company, and they're like, well, you have to have a cell phone if you work for the cell phone company. This is before, this is when they still had analog, and people used to steal people's ESNs and stuff like that. It wasn't as secure as it is now. But back then, this was probably around 1999-ish. So, they said you have to have a cell phone. So my very first cell phone was a Nokia 1000. And if I remember right, now this is going to blow some people's minds, that phone would broadcast at 3.5 watts. And when people talk about brain cancer and everything like that, you got 3.5 watts blowing your brain cancer or whatever. And I'm sure that the amperage or wattage is much lower, excuse me, bad English. But I could make and receive calls all the way down at Camp Pendleton in the area where on a lot of digital phones now, these digital phones, literally, they're smartphones or dumb phones or whatever. So my first phone was a Nokia 1000, and when you made a call, you were 20 minutes, done. So the habit back then was to always carry 3 extra batteries. And I would go down, there was a computer place, big huge place in Southern California. I think it was in Costa Mesa. I went and would find these batteries, and they wouldn't last very long. You could only charge them a certain amount of times before they would stop working properly. So anyway, I had this Nokia 1000 phone, and the only thing I did with it was put it in my glove compartment. I showed my boss I got a cell phone. Threw it in the glove box because I had no use for a cell phone. There wasn't anybody that, well, in my peer group that had the money to get a cell phone, for one thing. And the people that I would call were only worked at the cell phone company. So, anyway, and then when the first phones started, first digital phones started coming out, then I upgraded to a Motorola that looks kind of like something out of Star Trek. I thought that was the coolest phone. Of course, when I outgrew that, I let my daughter have it and she lost it. Well, I wish I still had that phone because it was so cool. It had the stubby little antenna and you could flip it. And then, but there was no internet. So you had to do all your texting, 1, 2, 3, beep, 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 on the phone. So anyway, for me, the cell phone is the biggest leash that's ever been invented. The only reason why I use my cell phone is when I'm working and I'm on a layover and I'm hyper bored. To fill the time, I'll get on Instagram or I'll get on Facebook. Simply because it just fills the time. It's like bringing the newspaper with you. And half of the stuff I don't even care about. I use Instagram for the motivational stuff. I like Instagram. Everything else like that. And I have some friends in the bagpipe community that I keep in touch with, family and friends and stuff like that. But when I post political stuff, it only makes things worse as far as, because families are families and they know you, and it's easy for them to get mad at you because you don't follow their beliefs or whatever. So for me, the internet is kind of like, nah, I don't care. I have fun on it. Facebook is fun. I did have Twitter. I closed my Twitter account. I closed my Amazon account. Yeah, let's see. There's a couple of, I remember AOL and all those other things. Anything with these cell phones, the freakiest thing to me, because I come from the old landline service, and you're used to talking to people like this. So when you get your cell phone, you're guys my age, or I would think, are used to talking like this. And I see people, because culturally, every cell phone or every telephone call that we grew up with was private. It was nobody's business. And it was rude for somebody to listen in and everything like that. And I would see these people walking down the road with the, how can I say, like this, going blah, 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 talking. Everybody can hear their conversation. That's, I hope this is the same for most people in my age group. That's insane. Why does everybody need to know your stuff? It's like, stop. And then when they're noisy, extra noisy, like in a restaurant or this, that, and the other, is the urge to go over and say, shut up. Because nobody wants to hear your stuff. I mean, that's just the way it is probably for me. And some of the stuff that people talk about on their phones, when in a crowd. It's like, these are people that you see every day, and you're letting them know your entire private life and this, that, and the other. Oh, no. So, everybody who knows me knows that there are certain times of the day I'm not on my phone. I won't answer my phone. Even when I'm at home, I rarely answer my phone. Now, I'll check for messages or anything like that maybe once or twice a day. Because if there's an emergency, I'm alone out here. So if there's an emergency, there's nothing I can do about it because everybody's a minimum of 10 hours away. And I mean, I have my neighbors and everything like that, but if they don't see me or see my car move for 2 or 3 days, they're going to knock on the door and check on me. I've got 4 or 5 people that'll do that here in my neighborhood. I'll do the same for them. But in a lot of ways, the cell phone is to me almost unnecessary. The internet's a little bit different. Facebook and Instagram. Instagram is just all. I just use it for motivational stuff. That's all. And connecting with a couple of cool people. I'm into the car culture and everything like that. I got the motorcycle thing because it's cool. I'm not a motorcycle guy. When I was 14, that's a different story. I'll tell that one later. When I was 14, one of our neighbors had a Suzuki 550 twin, which was faster. At that time, it was faster than everybody else's 600s or 700s of Hondas or other ones. But this Suzuki 550 twin was a fast bike. And the first time I goosed it, I almost fell off it. It's like riding a quarter horse. It just got up and moved. Well, I was 14, and of course, no motorcycle license. Well, no driver's license. Neighbor let me take the bike, so I went from all the way South Salt Lake all the way up to the Salt Lake City Cemetery, and came back. No, I didn't get busted. I didn't drive like an idiot. But anyway. Why in the heck did I talk about that? So, these phones are just, to me, stupid. They're good for keeping in touch. When I'm on the layover, everybody knows when in my Facebook group knows when I'm on a layover because I start posting all the stupid stuff that I do. It's only because out of boredom. It's not because I really need it, but I really like my Facebook people because they're mostly pipers and random people that, even if they're politically opposite from me or politically neutral to me, because I don't care if somebody's conservative or Democrat, unless they're some kind of weird hothead. I'm not going to go off on this side, and I'm not going to go off onto the other side. I'm an American. This country is huge, so I'm not worried about a collapse. All that'll happen was everybody will fall into their little separate niches until somebody decides that, oh, this isn't so great, and then they have to get along. That's just the way it's got to be. Anyway, I'm going to start rambling now. Cell phones. I think they're almost useless. If I had a landline, I probably would maybe get a call a day or something like that. No, I would have a messaging service or a voice recorder or something like that. That's my ramble for today. So, cell phones. The dumbest thing to see is when somebody's walking down the street, talking into their phone like this, blah, 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 blah. The whole world knows their stuff, and why? You don't... Phone calls are private. My great-grandmother, she was born in 1909. This is when telephones were a gyro, or you had generator. You'd crank it up and it would ring a bell on a party line, so everybody in the neighborhood could listen in. But my grandma, her view of technology was zilch. When you were done talking, when she was done talking to you, click, as though you didn't exist, because to her, that was just a conversation with you. When she was done, there's no protocol. You just go click, done, finished. Yeah, I've had times on calls where it's like, okay, gotta go, bye, see you, okay, bye, go away, shoo, goodbye, see you later, bye, no, goodbye. So that's the end of my rant. Cell phones and beepers and technology. Okay, I'm talking to you with a new webcam that I don't like because it makes things kind of stuttery, and that's not good. But I did buy a new computer, and I've had a blue microphone that I use because it doesn't distort like a cheap microphone. But I only bought this setup so that I can use it solely for making videos. So maybe my quality of videos will improve. So, yeah. I'm done talking and rambling and griping. Have a good night.